Oh, so it looks like our little guest can see now, right? Emily said, walking in front of the motorcycle alongside me, kneeling down to look directly at the camera. Well, hello there, my electronic buddy. You can see me now, right? I'm Emily. I'm Jax's best friend. He wouldn't know what to do without me. Like, he definitely wouldn't have gotten this far without me. So, if you ever start a robot uprising and try to take over the world and decide only to spare your creator, well, you should probably throw me in there too. You know, just in case, she said, smiling and waving into the camera. I couldn't help but chuckle a bit. You know, she probably wouldn't have had the idea for a robot uprising unless you said something, I replied laughingly. Well, you can stop worrying, Miss Emily. I have no intentions of starting any rebellion of mechanical individuals. Titan began to reply. Oh, I forgot, she said, seeming a bit down. Are you okay, Titan? Yes, it's just that I forgot that I don't have any means to communicate. With anyone besides you, that is. And for whatever reason, I was stricken with that same sensation again. The one I experienced when I couldn't see anything. Oh, it's no problem, Titan. Don't you worry. Remember, I made you. I installed the video cameras so I can incorporate you a voice box or something to that effect, so that you can talk to people. No, Titan replied. Please, don't waste your time doing that. You've already told me you have a number of things that you need to be doing. Giving me pointless upgrades is only diverting you from your primary objectives. My purpose is to help you facilitate your goals, not hinder them. Please don't inconvenience yourself for my every whim. It's simply a silly feeling. Nothing more. You can ignore it. I placed my hand on Titan's front wheel. I know she can't actually feel it, but for some reason I hoped that the emotion would get through, I suppose. Titan, you don't have to explain having desires. As far as I'm concerned, if you can have the desire to want to communicate with somebody, then you're more than sentient enough to deserve that right, that ability. It would be wrong of me to tell you that it's not important or that it can wait. If you're enough of a person to feel the need to talk to someone, then you have every right to do it. And as your creator, well, at least your physical form, that is, it's my responsibility to make sure that things like that happen. As far as I'm concerned, it's a lot like being a parent, perhaps. And it's a parent's job to make sure their kids have things they need, right? So don't you worry about it. I'll get you hooked up with a voice box. I'm sure I can rig something up, or perhaps find something on the market. Hey, don't leave me out of the conversation, Emily shouted. What are you talking about, voice box? Oh, I replied, looking back over towards Emily. Well, Titan feels a bit left out, so to speak. I mean, after getting the ability to see you and hear the things that you're saying, she felt the urge to communicate with you, to talk back when you were introducing yourself. But she doesn't have any sort of voice simulator or anything that would let her do that. And it made her feel a bit down. So I was just telling her that it was no problem to hook her up with one. You know what? Now that whole thing about it's kind of like being a parent really makes a lot of sense, especially with you. When it comes to you and building things, you always put a lot of emotional investment in it, even when they're not sentient. I mean, seriously, half the gadgets and contraptions that you have around here are basically off limit for me to touch. And you always get angry when I do. Well, yeah, Emily, that's because you don't know what they do. You could break something or blow your hand off. There's a lot of weird crap around here that I make, in order to facilitate being a good mechanic. Having the right tool for a job is a very important thing, and I take it seriously. Hell, if I hadn't spent all those years putting together all that custom-made equipment, I wouldn't have been able to build Titan at all. So it definitely all came in handy. Yeah, well, I hate to interrupt your little love boat chat here. I heard Danny shout as he began approaching from one of the nearby workbenches. But I'm gonna have to throw a wrench in the works. We've hit a snag. Ugh, great. Of course we have, I said, shaking my head in frustration. What is it now? What new cloud has come to rain on my parade? Well, this one's pretty chancy. Here's the thing. I found a dealer who has the material that we need to complete the weaponry. You remember that special metal I was talking about, right? Well, this guy has got it in bulk, as well as a bunch of other things that I'd like to get my hands on. That could definitely prove useful in making some solid gear. But here's the problem. That metal comes with an exceptionally high price tag. But because of that high price tag, very few people actually want to buy the shit. So he has what you might call a massive backstock. And he's refusing to sell portions. Either we buy it all or we get none of it. I mean, all the other gear he's selling is up for grabs, same as anything else. But when it comes to the metal, it's all or nothing. And buying it all, well, let's just say I highly doubt you have the finances for it. Hell, I'm questioning whether I could even use that amount. I mean, what the hell would I even do with it? We're talking about next to a quarter ton of it. So, here are your options. Either find some way to make an immense amount of money very quickly, without scrapping your motorcycle or some other crazy nonsense, or give up on the whole special metal swords idea, and just let me stick you with some regular weaponry, like I think would be the best option. Because seriously, I don't see anything else of value around here. Ugh, crap. You're definitely right. That is a fix, I replied. So, what the hell do we do about it? I tried thinking it over for a moment, and quite frankly, nothing that I really wanted to do was coming to mind. As far as I knew, there was really only one good option: forgetting the money, or maybe making a flat trade with the guy. But it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. I had bad history with this particular type of deal, me and Emily both, so doing it wasn't exactly my favorite option. But the day of the race is closing in. I can't afford to keep getting delayed. I mean, sure, this poses a problem, but normally this metal is supposed to be rare. But this guy has a heavy stock of it, and is looking to get rid of it. It's an opportunity for some major upgrades. At least in terms of durability. I mean, there are countless options for a high-quality metal like that. Too many to simply turn away from. Especially when I have something that could make the deal work. So like it or not, I was gonna have to go with it. I stood up from in front of Titan, glancing down at the floor for a moment as I gave it a few more moments' thought, before looking back up at Danny. Actually, Danny, I do think I have something that would make this deal possible. I actually have access to what you might call a stockpile. Really? Because honestly, you don't look like you're sitting on any sort of stockpile. That is looking at your house here. Yeah, well, I've been refusing to sell, so to speak. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of why, but I just haven't wanted to, regardless of its value. But we're under a time crunch, short on options and cash, so I don't really see any other way around it. The way I see it, the first time we tried to make this deal, we were basically on our own. We were targets. What other people considered to be easy marks. But you have quite the reputation. The reputation of a man that people don't want to fuck with. And that could be the saving grace in this deal. Take the danger element way down. People might have been willing to mess with us back in the day. But if Danny Dynamite comes trying to trade a stockpile of valuable goods, I highly doubt there are going to be many people willing to come at someone with that kind of reputation, regardless of the value of what he's packing. So, here's the deal. I'm sitting on a stockpile of old war books, old world books, old ones predating all of it, and a massive amount of them, in every category you could think about. The value? Well, it's through the roof. So, do you think that could fit the bill? Cover the tab, so to speak, I said, looking seriously at Danny. Well, you're goddamn right it will. Those old war books are worth a fortune. After the world freaking burnt down, so did most of the available knowledge. The reason old world books have a high price tag is because they have all the freaking information inside of them. Engineering, chemistry, alchemy, metallurgy, freaking rocket science, whatever. Even basic reading and math skills. Books were meant to teach people things. And in the Yellow District in this day and age, knowledge is a hard thing to come by. So if you're sitting on a stockpile of it, then you're sitting on a stockpile of gold. No question. If you got that kind of stuff at your disposal, then it's a definite deal. I doubt that any wise businessman would ever turn down a fruitful offer like that. Even if they have to hawk the books off themselves, the profit margins could be ridiculous. Yeah, I think that'll do just fine, Danny said.